Yep, I'll declare the meeting open at 12:30. Could you all please stand for the affirmation? We recognise the traditional owners of the land. We are inspired by the early pioneers and those who gave their lives for our country. We now ask God's blessing on our deliberations and on our commitment to build a better lifestyle and environment. Please be seated. This council meeting is being recorded and live streamed to council's YouTube channel. The recording will also be made available on council's website. Whilst all care is taken to ensure that your privacy is maintained, please be aware that your presence may be recorded. Do we have any apologies? No apologies. Could I have a confirmation of the minutes of the last meeting on Monday the 4th of December?
Yes, Mr Mayor, happy to confirm the meetings of the previous council meeting as accurate and correct.
Thank you, Councillor Emerson. Could I have a seconder, please?
Happy to second, Mr Mayor.
Yeah, all in favour? Carried. Matters arising from the minutes? Any matters arising? Sorry. Any presentations and awards? Okay, 5.1, which is the, could I have someone to read the recommendation? It's the presentation of petitions and joint letters, Australia Day petition.
Mr Mayor, I'll move that the petition be received and lay on the table until the next council meeting.
May I have a seconder?
Happy to second, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. All in favour? Carried. Oh, even to that one? Okay. Sorry, would you like to speak to the motion? Sorry, would you like to speak to the motion, Councillor?
Just quickly, we did receive a petition regarding Australia Day. Further discussion will go on at the next council meeting. I think Australia Day has been and gone this year and highly successful, and we'll have that discussion at the next council meeting.
Would any other councillor wish to speak? Oh, sorry, Murray, would you like to say something?
Nothing further, Mr Mayor, thank you.
Any other councillor wish to speak? And then I'll take the vote again. All in favour? Carried. I've just got to find my second one here, guys. All right, 9.3.1, the Manu flood study. Could I please have someone to... Have I?
Conflict of interest.
Oh, conflict of interest. Where am I? I'm sort of a bit out of order here. Here.
Six and then 7.
Yeah. Do I have any disclosures of a conflict of interest? No.
7.
Informal meetings of councillors. I don't need a mover or a seconder, do I? Because it wasn't there. Are there any items brought? I do. Can I have a resolution? A mover for the...
Yeah, look, I'm happy to move that the informal meeting of councillors as listed are true and correct.
Thank you, councillor. Could I have a seconder?
Happy to second that, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Would any other councillor wish to speak? No. All right, I'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Carried. Any items brought forward? All right, now. Right, 9.3.1, the Manu flood study. Could I have a recommendation, please?
Mr Mayor, I'm happy to move that the Council endorses at the recommendations listed in the Manu flood study summary report.
May I have a seconder?
Mr Mayor, I'll second, please.
Losing the plot now.
Move and speak.
Yes, Councillor, would you like to speak?
Yes, Mr Mayor. Look, this is towards the end of the flood study, and there are a number of recommendations, and I think next financial year there are some works. No. I thought there was some works to be done at Manu, but that may have changed. Anyway, look, the report's there, the recommendations are there, and the work will get done eventually over time.
Councillor Stasevic.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. If I may follow up with Councillor Irwin's statements, I understand that there will be some maintenance work in areas at Manu. Fundamentally, the mitigation steps that are in the report speak to the issue of backlogging of water. There's not much you can do in the flat country, as I call it, up that neck of the woods, where Councillor Irwin's more than happy to call home. We're down the gateway to paradise at Stewart Mill. We don't have such issues, really. So we, the report does step out a series of mitigation effects that will has the potential to ease some of the inundation in the area. There are very few properties that are subject to above floor flooding. However, there's roadways several of the roadways, we've witnessed that over the years that are blocked off during wet weather events. Thank you.
Thank you. Would any other councillor wish to speak? Yes, Kevin, would you like to sum up?
Nothing further, Mr Mayor.
Right, I'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Against? Carried. Yep. 9.3.2. This is the... Can I have a mover, please?
Mr Mayor, I'd like to remove that the Council endorses the inclusion of the Landsborough Road Culvert Replacement Project CUL 126320 into the current Capital Works Program 2023-24. I suspect that should be 24-25. Is that correct?
Yes.
No, 23-24 it is. I've received a nod. It defers the Joel Road Bridge Upgrade Works BRG 124995 from the current Capital Works Program for future years. 2 future years, my apologies. And 3, allocates $150,000 to the Landsborough Road Culvert Replacement Project, which will include the reallocation of $80,000 from the Joel Bridge project and savings from other bridge projects from the current year.
Thank you, Eddie. Could I have a seconder?
Happy to second, Mr Mayor.
Eddie.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. We understand from the surveillance of the asset that it is in poor condition. It does require some mitigation works, fundamentally because it could be a catastrophic failure, which really council can't afford to take the risk. At the moment, it's supplying access for traffic. However, one of the mitigation steps is to potentially reduce speed and restrict the load limit on across that culvert until repairs are effected. The other issue, of course, is that the works on Joel Bridge have been reviewed and found not to be wanting. The decking doesn't need to be strengthened because it still is able to carry B-double transports. So consequently, that redundant monies can be put towards this culvert project. The nature of the culvert, the substantial traffic that link road carries warrants this work. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Irwin.
Yes, Mr Mayor. Look, this is the busiest road, I think, in the northern Grampians, and I've travelled it on many occasions myself, seeing my wife comes from out that way, but did notice that the thing was sinking a bit, and you do hit it with a bit of a bang, and this works are needed very quickly. As Councillor Starcevic said, the Joel Road Bridge is capable of carrying B-doubles and is currently okay at the moment. So I think these works need to go ahead as quickly as possible, probably by the look of the condition of the culverts, which are nearly 80 years old.
Would any other councillor wish to speak? If not, I'll put that to the vote. Eddie, would you like to summary, please?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I think it's important to commend the staff as well for the maintenance and inspection of assets. Without that sort of surveillance on assets, we would have failing infrastructure that would put people in jeopardy. So more power to those that do inspect the assets to keep our people safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Would any other councillor wish to speak? If not, I'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Against? Carried. 9.4.1, formal road naming of Maddox Road. Could I have a mover, please?
Mr Mayor, I'm happy that Council names the unnamed road of Horsham Road and Grampians Road Stall as Maddox Road.
Could I have a seconder?
I'm happy to second that recommendation.
Thank you, councillor. Councillor Irwin.
Yeah, look, I think it's been said a long time ago that the Maddox has been associated with the Stall area for a long, long time, and it's quite fitting that the Short Road is named after the Maddox family, who had a history of a soft drink factory, I think it was, down that area, and I'm sure that the families associated with the Maddoxes will be more than happy to have a road named after them.
Yep. Councillor Heslop.
Nothing further to add.
Thank you. Would you like to sum up?
Nothing
further. Any other councillor wish to speak?
Yes, thank you. This has come to us previously in terms of going out to public, and through the process has then come back to us to formally name the road, and as per my points raised at the last meeting, I'll be voting against the name change of this.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak? If not, I'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Against? Carried. Are there any notices of rescission? Notices of motion or rescission? Reports from councillors or committees? So, I'm taking... Okay. Eddie, would you like to start?
First cap off the rank. I'll try and keep it short, but we've had a fair few goings on early this year. The first thing I'd like to draw Council's attention to is the St Arnaud Bowling Club is hosting a disabled tournament on the 8th of February. It's an event that will draw in at least 300 people into the town, which is a substantial issue. Limited abilities event. I know that Murray Woods is going to kick me for that, but I apologise. Limited abilities event. These are the sort of events that certainly St Arnaud and the clubs in St Arnaud are trying to attract to increase throughput through the town and circulate some coin through town as well, obviously. The limited abilities don't have as many an opportunity to participate, so this is a good outcome. And to that end, I'm hoping that that the club has reached out, as they should have, to council for some assistance. We've had a couple of meetings with the Stuart Mill community and regarding the funding opportunities that state government has provided, namely the tiny towns, which amuses me because it applies to towns of 5,000 people or less. Stuart Mill of 80 people will probably qualify quite comfortably. The community came together over 2 successive meetings to identify and then vote on a preferred pathway for funding. That's subject to a funding application as well. Similarly, there are several other community groups that are interested in the enabling tourism funding opportunities, and we're having various meetings with people through St Arnaud for that. We had a meeting with the Queen Mary's Gardens, Friends of the Gardens, and for that, for the Friends of the Gardens group that catered for the Australia Day event, I must say that that their efforts were well received. They are now looking at the passive playground as a major centrepiece for their activities this year, and I'm aware that council officers have got some plans in place that need to be exposed and engaged with the Friends community. There's been a number of people speak to me, including the Friends of the Gardens, about the Mechanics Institute and its parlous state. It is in imminent danger of falling. The veranda's in imminent danger of falling down, and unfortunately, we really are unaware. Sorry, the Friends and others are unaware of the ownership structure and how it can be better utilised. So that's something that we'll have to raise as well. And just finalising on the Harvest Festival, which happened on the weekend. Well attended, well presented. Congratulations to the people that put it together. More events like this are important to small towns. Thank you.
Since our last official meeting, some of us councillors were able to tour the Central Park female-friendly club rooms, which are in development at the moment, to extend the change rooms and create facilities that are friendly for females to be involved in, which I know, speaking to a number of athletes as well, that have in the past come to the stall gift and in future are really excited to see those changes as well. So they're looking forward to that, having those facilities up and running as well, which we've seen that the progress is where it should be at and will be done just prior to Easter as well, ready for that grand opening, which is really great news. The Visitor Information Centre volunteers had a celebratory event late last year, which I was able to attend, and there is a great number of work that the volunteers do across St Arnaud's Stall and Halls Gap as well. So it was good to be able to celebrate those that volunteer in those roles and to see so many people putting their hand up to support and the numbers that are coming through. And, Julie Gibson as the coordinator does a great job with pulling all that together. So it was great to be a part of that. The Central Grampians LEN, Local Learning Employment Network, had their Governance and Finance Subcommittee meeting, which I sit on, as well as their board meeting. And they're in a great position at the moment with recruiting some new staff at the moment as well, and all their programs are going quite well. With the Mates Mentoring as well is one that is continuing to expand across a number of schools in Northern Grampians and Ararat City, and they're always seeking more mentors to be able to support one-on-one students there as well. The MAVs, the Municipal Association of Victoria, I attended their Celebrating Progress and Empowering Change conference late last year, and that was a great event attended by a number of councillors and staff members from across the state. It was run by a former resident of Northern Grampians Shire Council facility whose name's Bonnie Coogan, and she now works at MAV and was able to pull that event together, with keynote speaker being Grace Tame, which was a really wonderful experience to be able to meet her, and she even slid into my DMs afterwards, so that was good. We had a bit of a chat, which was lovely, and she just, told part of her story, but advocated for change as well as drawing statistics to, the sexual assault and abuse of children that go on as well. So it was very, eye-opening, inspiring, empowering, all those sorts of things. And, reform in that space is really, really key at the moment. I was able to have a CEO catch-up with our CEO, Brent McAllister, and discuss strategic direction moving forward. I think it's a great implementation to be able to have one-on-ones with councillors and CEOs moving forward. So to be able to do that on a regular basis is great. To be able to do that and provide feedback from the community as well. And basically how we're going to progress for the remainder of the term as well, which really isn't that far away. The store gift agreement signing was another one that I think as well was headed up by our CEO, where we were able to significantly enhance the contribution that council provide to the stall gift. So $100,000 now over 4 years was something that we have committed to, and it was also great to have Neil Brennan there, who's a Store Gift Event Management Board member, and he just travelled down from Melbourne for the day and back just to sign a piece of paper, basically. But the sort of what sits behind that, I suppose, is the significance of it, and what the board as well as council, the VAL, all the athletes as well in the community really see as a good thing for the town. I've been doing some work as well behind the scenes with my contacts too, through Justine and the Echo Dev team at council, with the Walk to Your Blocks podcast, which is a pro-running podcast that talks about the gifts that are held each week and the work that's going on in the space. And a few years ago, they came down and did some street talk around stall for the gift, to talk to local community members, try to get them on board. Do they attend the stall gift? If so, why not? And then really trying to create some buzz around that. So now we're looking at basically incorporating that. Now there's more of an economic development team and strategy, like a branding strategy as well, to align the support that the pro-running, the VAL, provide in with council and their branding strategy and marketing as well, to move things forward. So there's some exciting things happening in that space. I also attended the Stall Neighbourhood House committee meeting. We've had some ups and downs since COVID in terms of, being financially viable. We are, but in terms of members and people attending the facilities, it's always, ebbed and flowed, but now it's on an upward trajectory, which is good to see. So the number of people attending the house is increased, as well as the events that are put on and attended as well. And the committee is always seeking new members too, to be on that. I attended the Midsummer Festival Pride March yesterday in Melbourne, down in St Kilda, and there's hundreds of thousands of people, basically, 100,000 people maybe or more, that either participate in the parade or are involved in the march or on the streets as well, from a number of councils, organisations, businesses, community groups. The people involved in that is just incredible. So it was a pleasure to be able to march. I was taken under the wing of the Mornington Peninsula Shire Council and some of their collaborative groups with the Frankston Council as well. So that was a great event. To attend and walk down the street as a councillor and get applauded is something that doesn't, happen regularly in the local government sector. So we were definitely soaking up that one. And it's a really important event, and to be recognised as well. And lastly, caretaker period has just been announced as from the 24th of September. So the countdown is on for the end of this council term, with the elections to be held in October 2024 as well. So lots of changes happening. We're working towards what can be done up until then, before community vote or put their hand up to be on council for the next 4 years. So watch this space and see what happens. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. A couple of things. Attended a few meetings over the Christmas period and or the last couple of months. A couple of VLGA meetings I attended. Just one thing especially was brought up about the windfall tax, how it was going to knock around small councils, and see basically what we can do working towards that. I attended the Australia Day sort of weekend. We had a great weekend. We had great crowds at St Arnaud and in Stawell, and we had, I think it was 2 new taking the oath in St Arnaud and 7 in Stawell, which was really good. The Show and Shine at Great Western was another one I attended. They had over 200 entries. It was the biggest Show and Shine they've ever had down there, so that was a huge success. And when we were coming back from St Arnaud, we called into Beasley's Bridge, and there's a monument there with veterans' names like in honour of the World Wars, and we're hoping that we can put something together to preserve that memorial. There's a big tree growing over the top of it now and things like that. It needs quite a bit of work, and it'd be really good to see something like that preserved in the future. Yeah, that's about all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Irwin.
Thank you. Last year's a long way back. I attended the usual functions around the Christmas period. Thought we'd get away for a little break, but had a online meeting with the Minister for Roads regarding when some of the potholes may get filled. It's gone well past the date that she indicated they would start at, and still nothing has happened as yet. Also around betterment too, something which has been on the cards for at least 15 years. And we did have a follow-up meeting with Emergency Management Victoria and Emergency Recovery Victoria. And it will be a slow process, but at least I think we did move forward that day, and it was quite a good meeting. Also had a session with the Regional Australian Institute around transmission and wind farms, and perhaps I told it like it was, and the feeling of the community around the area which is going to be severely impacted by transmission and wind farms. Had to catch up with our CEO too, and tried to sneak in a couple of days at the beach while we're down there, even though the weather was pretty ordinary. Thank you. I did attend the soccer the other night, which was a great night. I'm not sure of the numbers there. They're probably 150, 200 perhaps, in that vicinity. But it was a great evening, and caught up with a few there too, so that's about it.
Councillor Heslop.
I'm not going to double up. I have been to a lot of events that other councillors have been to, but I won't double up. But I just want to say one of my highlights was the Australia Day celebrations. Some very worthy recipients of the Australia Day Awards, both St Arnaud and Stawell, well attended, good numbers, and I think everyone that went to the Australia Day celebrations really enjoyed them. So a great day enjoyed by all, and yeah, I just really enjoy Australia Day, and I enjoy recognising people that put a lot of that contribute to our community, and just appreciating what they do for us. So yeah, that was my highlight.
Thank you. Councillor Emerson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and I'm in a similar position as Councillor Heslop. When you're the last on the list, everything's been covered by the time it gets to you. But just one thing I'd like to make the public aware of. There's a thing called the Store Gift coming up in 7 weeks' time. It's our major event. It's very important to the Shire, both economically and through the influx of people who come into our Shire. Get behind it, local people, support it, buy a ticket, give a trophy, just support the Store Gift and help the Store Gift Event Management Board do what they've got to do to ensure that the event keeps going. But it is important that the local people get behind the event.
Thank you, councillor. I too will not double up. I mean, I went through the list. I've got it open in front of me last week. But just to go through it again, yes, it's covered by everybody else. But the stall gift is coming, and that is important. Thank you, Councillor Emerson. And the effort and the energy that went into Australia Day was exceptional. And where we've ended up is fantastic. You know, like everybody had a sensational time. It was a terrific day. And just to recoup on the Beasley's Bridge, I've done some more research on the monument at Beasley's Bridge, which are they're the old gateposts to the public hall. And although the public hall's not there anymore, the gateposts and the memorial is still there. And I've managed to get photographs that show the original gates that are in it, and I'm hopeful that we can have the gates, as we restore those gateposts, have the gates remanufactured to the original pattern. They're not complicated, they're quite simple, and that will indeed go a long way to help preserve and restore this memorial. Thank you. Okay, don't I have to accept? I have to accept these first.
Yes. A motion.
Could I have a motion that the reports from councillors be accepted?
Happy to move that those reports be received.
Could I have a seconder?
Happy to second that.
Thank you, Councillor Heslop. All in favour? Carried. Any urgent business? All right, so we go now to public question time. I have two public questions. One from Jacqueline Riddler. Jacqueline, are you here? No. And another one from Sarah Jane Shipcott. Now, normally what we do is if the people aren't here and they can't read their own questions, we deal with this in council so as they get a written response to their questions. But today I'm going to read the questions because I know that we have Justine Kingan here who would like to comment on the questions. So the first one is from Jacqueline Riddler. She's from Stawell. When does the proposed construction of the units at 56 Darcy Street begin? These were approved last year, probably in the first half of the year, I would say. Has it been proposed and passed that the removal of the neighbouring sugar gums? Has there been a professional environmental study or a survey done around the loss of the parrot population, including the rare and critically endangered swift parrot, if these trees were to be removed, and the impact that the construction would have? Trenton, would you like to answer that one?
Yes, happy to respond. So with regard to the proposed construction date of 56 Darcy Street, Council is not aware of the proposed construction will begin. It's not something we monitor under the planning controls. Permit conditions state that the development must start within 2 years of the date of the permit, and it needs to be completed within 4 years of the date of the permit. The date of the permit was the 6th of June 2023. So until that date, we won't follow up, effectively.
Yep.
Has it been proposed and passed the removal of the sugar gums? There's been no approval granted for the removal of the adjoining sugar gums as part of the permit that has been issued for 56 Darcy Street. There is also no application on the record for its removal otherwise. And with regards to a further environmental study, Council is only able to assess the application within the ambit of the planning scheme, of what the planning scheme allows. There was no permit trigger under the zone or overlay which allowed Council to require an environmental study and a survey to be undertaken. It could therefore not form part of what could be considered as part of the planning permit.
Thank you very much. And a detailed written response will be sent to Jacqueline Riddler in Darcy Street. The next question is from Sarah Jane Shipcott of Winter Valley. I'm not sure I know where Winter Valley is. Her question is, how does the Northern Grampians Shire Council respond to the Victorian Government's Housing Statement 24 to 34, specifically the Regional Housing Fund and the Regional Worker Accommodation Fund? Will the Northern Grampians Shire Council provide guidance, assistance or funding to landowners of property that could easily be subdivided and built on, if not for current zones or overlays hindering progress? Does the Northern Grampians Shire Council have a plan for increasing housing stock in Great Western? So 3 questions. Thank you, Justine.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So Council's obviously very committed to the housing issue. We appreciate that it's one of our biggest challenges for our community, including our businesses and employers and families. So we're currently working with a number of businesses to assist them in applying for the Regional Worker Housing Fund through our grant writing service, in addition to supporting them through letters of support and strategic evidence and other strategic advice. We're also in the process of preparing a project which we will deliver in 2024, which is a residential infill housing development project. So the aim of that is to guide and encourage landholders to develop within the built environment, within the existing residential areas in large towns such as Stawell, St Arnaud, Halls Gap and Great Western. So this offers the opportunity to build where there is the existing infrastructure and services. And we do have vacant land which we're hoping to unlock. So we are actively responding in that way to the Victorian Government's housing statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That will also, as before, that will be detailed in a letter sent to Sarah Jane Shipcott of Winter Valley. Now, without any further ado, we have an issue in closed council, so I would ask that the public gallery be cleared, please. Yeah, thank you so much.
Mr Mayor, I'd be happy to move a motion that we move into closed council to consider some confidential discussion.
Thank you. We'll have a seconder.
Happy to second.
No, you always have to clear the public gallery before you move into. Okay? Sorry, Karen, what was that?
I said, did you want to wait for Eddie?
Yes, thank you, Councillor Emerson. Can I have a seconder?
Yeah, then second.
Thank you, Councillor Irwin. All right. Councillor... Against? Carried.
Those against?
Oh, any against? No, there wasn't any against.
Then you ask. Need to report back.
You've got me completely enough. All right, now it's your one.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I now report back, I'm pleased to report back on the resolution that was made in closed council meeting, and that resolution was the council agrees to take up the second and final one-year option to extend contract C2 2021-22 provision of street cleaning services with the current contractor, Above All Cleaning Services, Victoria Pty Limited. Thank you.
There being no further business, I declare the meeting closed at 1:10 p.m. Thank you.